Hello, my name is Don and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Discovery 3 to 15 by 50 first focal plane optics, so stay tuned. Guys, the nice thing about Discovery optics is you kind of get this in a kit. It normally comes with everything that you would need to set the scope up and be shooting on the same day. You don't have to run to the store and grab some rings, and it comes with everything you need. It comes with a throw lever, it comes with rings, it comes with scope caps, although the rear scope cap is just this little rubber cap here that does not stay on the rifle. Now, some of the models, it does actually clip on to the parallax knob. This one does not. The rings that it comes with are a very high ring, and you might not be able to use these rings. They're actually fairly good rings. I would not be scared to use them on this setup. So this scope has a couple of features that the 5 to 25 didn't have, and one of the things is you don't need an Allen wrench to take your caps off. You just have this one cover here that is coin removable, or a flathead screwdriver, and you loosen that up, you pull your cap off, adjust it to 0, and then tighten it back up, and you're good to go. So let's go over these turrets real quick. Now there is a little bit of play in them. Same thing on the windage. But it's, they're actually very good turrets. I'm not going to complain about that just because they, there's a little lash right there. They do click in, very positive. I don't see any trouble with the turrets at all. They actually work quite nicely. Okay, so the rear focus, eyepiece focus for the reticle is very super smooth. The parallax is super smooth, and it takes a little bit of pressure to get her to move, but it's super smooth, and it's not that hard. And it does go down to, I got it to focus down to 5 yards. The illumination adjustment is very firm, and it's very exact, and it does have an off in between each setting, which is super nice. The biggest problem with this scope is the appearance of the reticle. If you look at it, it's kind of fish-eyed, so the center is in focus, and the further you get away from the center, the more out of focus the reticle becomes. If you look at the 10 area, look how faded that is in that part of the reticle. Now, that is, I can deal with that, but when you get to the biggest flaw of the scope, which is if you're directly behind the scope and looking through it and everything is in focus, what happens if you tilt your head to the right or to the left or make any type of movement with your head, the reticle goes out of focus. It actually blurs. It'll get a double vision. The reticle does some really funky things when you move your head. But if you're directly behind it and you're looking through the scope like you normally would, you don't notice the problem. It's the second you move your head, it goes out of focus. Now I'm going to try and demonstrate that for you here. I'm going to try and move the camera like it would be my eye, and I'm going to try and simulate what happens when you turn your head. So I'm turning the camera, and there you go. It goes blurry. Sometimes it will get a double image, so you'll have like a double reticle. And then the moment you return your head to normal, the reticle will come back into focus. And the closer you are to the center, the better in focus the reticle will be. There's something going on in the eyepiece that is causing this. Now, this is the second time I've seen a scope do this. The first one was the Discovery 5 to 30. They sent me one of these scopes, and this is why I sent it back to them. And it looks like I'm going to end up having to send this one back too. The zero stop is adjusted the same exact way it is on the 5 to 25. We have a little zero stop cam here that you loosen up with your Allen wrench. You lift it off, and then you set it to the little tab that sticks up on the scope. You line them up, tighten it back up, and you're good to go. Put your cap back on, tighten it back up with a coin or a flathead screwdriver, and you're all set. It's real simple, takes a couple minutes. So this is the third scope that I received for review from Discovery. The first scope was the 5 to 30 by 56, and that had the same problem as this scope, where the reticle would go out of focus. Anyhow, that 5 to 30 had the same exact problem. I sent that one back to them, and then they ended up sending me the 5 to 25, which has been a phenomenal scope. I have had no problems. That does not have the same problem with the eyepiece that the other two do. That was a phenomenal scope for the money. The glass in these scopes, it's Japanese glass, and it's pretty dang good, especially for the price point. It's actually unbelievable for the price point. Now this scope, we have the same problem as the first one, where the eyepiece, there's something going on there where the reticle is going off focus. And I've tried adjusting it, and I've tried everything, you know, because there's a proper way to adjust the reticle. And I went through that process, and it didn't make it any better. No matter what position I put this in, it still does it. It's really a shame that that reticle does that, because the quality on these scopes is actually pretty good. Now, yeah, I do have a little bit of a you know, the finish on this isn't the greatest because the sunshade doesn't match. But for the most part, you know, the finish is a little blotchy. But, you know, the construction on these seem to be pretty good. The turrets are really good. Everything's nice and smooth like you would want it to be. You know, it comes with everything you need to set it up. And it's really a shame that reticle does that, because the rest of the scope is pretty solid, especially the image that this thing produces. It's really unfortunate that I really can't recommend it because of that. If they do end up getting this fixed, I'll let you know. If they send me another scope, and you know, we'll check and see if that one does the same thing, and we'll make an update video on it also. But yeah, as of right now, I really, although it is a solid scope in every other aspect, that reticle is probably one of the most important things on a scope, because that's what determines where your bullet's going to go. And guys, it's got to stay in focus. It just does. Now guys, these scopes are getting very good reviews through Amazon, so I don't know if this is a isolated problem, or if maybe these people are not noticing this problem with the scope, because like I said, if you get directly behind the scope, it's not a problem. It's the moment you tilt your head or have any type of little bit of movement that reticle just completely distorts. Now, out of the 5 reviews on this particular scope, one of the guys did mention that he had the exact problem, and I'm going to list that right here. But if you look at the reviews on all the other scopes, I couldn't find any more that had that problem. So like I said, I don't know if this is a isolated incident, and but 2 out of the 3 scopes that I have received from Discovery have done this. Now, their flagship top of the line 5 to 25 Gen 2 did not do this whatsoever. I mean, like I said, that is a phenomenal scope for the money. But this one, unfortunately, I can't recommend it because of this problem. I will update it if I get another scope from Discovery and that one's fine. I will definitely let you know with an updated video. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much all I got for you today. So if you like what you saw, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you like what I'm doing here, guys, go down and subscribe. 85% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Guys, I would really appreciate it if you did. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you in the next one.